Red Embrace Hollywood. We are here with Markus. He's handing us his key to a store, I'm assuming, and then the business card. I'm gonna say, wait, you're not. There are the keys to my shop. I'm not asking you to run it, but to keep it safe in case I return. Where are you going? Marcus's smile was bittersweet, filled with as much sadness as determination. I'm leaving Hollywood to seek the truth of my condition, for I am sick with my own salvation. I must discover the true nature of whatever I am becoming, and I must do it alone. So I'm asking you to stay here, watching over the Hollywood you and I have nurtured, until you reach the highest potential I see within you. What? I'll watch over it and I'll wait for your return. Let me go with you. I don't belong here either. Will you ever come back? I feel like I would be in distress if he told me this. So the only thing I would constantly ask is, will he come back? He gave me a long, uncertain smile, one that seemed almost on the verge of tears. In a different place and time, when you and I are both ready. What are you talking about? We'll leave again, together. No, wait! The next moment, Markus abruptly stepped forward. His arm curled around me, roughly pulling me against him. Wait! What if there's no next time? The sharp, brief kiss covered my lips so sudden that I barely had time to process it, before he'd already pulled away. Markus, remember one thing, Michiko. To never trust anyone? Is that this whole lesson, this whole time? He took a step backward, bounced. Wait. Are you falling? Can you fly? Please don't die on me. He took a step backward, balancing on the edge of the rooftop. Become what you are. The last and only riddle worth solving. Oh, dude. I don't want to click next. When those words left his lips, as Markus calmly smiled towards me, he jumped off. No, leap out and grab him, please. I lunged forward the next second, trying to grab his arm. But as soon as I saw over the ledge, I realized he'd disappeared. My eyes dropped to what I had left of him, the keys and card in my hand. I brushed my thumb over the card's surface, gently turning it over. There, on the other side, were some carefully etched words. Somewhere deep in my mind, they stirred a memory. Where I end, you begin. He didn't die, right? I don't think he died. Was that a trick question? Where I end, you begin? I began at the club, didn't I? As I rode in silence back to the hotel, staring at the rows of dark buildings that passed me by, my mind suddenly flickered back to someone. Lazarus. My driver was heading towards the same sewer entrance I'd gone down so many nights ago, and I had to wonder if Lazarus was still down there somewhere. Oh, should I go visit him? Sure, why not? Go visit sewers. I'm not gonna die for choosing this, right? The sewer stench didn't affect me as much anymore. It still burned my senses, but in a way I've gotten used to it. I wandered through the tunnel, searching for any trace of Lazarus' presence. It felt like a useless effort, since I had never been able to detect him before, but I held out hope that this time would be different. I walked on and on and on, until finally I reached the same place I'd found his first victim. As I rounded the corner, something made my senses tingle, then traces of a familiar presence. Try to listen for any sign of life. I'm not gonna fucking speak. What if it isn't him? I strained my ears, but I couldn't pick up the sound of any footsteps or movement. All I heard was a muffled buzz. Buzz? Disappointed, I started to turn around, about to head back into the tunnel, when my eyes suddenly landed on a dark shape in the distance. I hurried towards it without thinking, but as soon as I got close, I stopped in my tracks. Yo, am I dead? Yo, I'm dead. It was Lazarus, slumped against the wall, limp and motionless. Oh, a shotgun lay beside him, falling from his skeletal fingers. But his head was a swarm of flies. Oh, greedily hovered around the wet, dangling remnants of his face and brains, buzzing among the pulpy mass in an eager swarm, as if they were fighting over the gore, as if they couldn't get enough of his death. ice fell down to his lap. A thin piece of paper lay there, splattered with blood and tissue, a single fly crawling over it. I reached down to grasp the note and saw the clumsily scrawled words. It was always in my head. For some reason, I knew that Lazarus wouldn't want to be moved. All of his life, he'd been at the mercy of other people's wishes, always used and manipulated by someone else's hands. Now no one could do that to him anymore. Maybe that was what he wanted all along. So I left what was once Lazarus down in the sewers, decaying among the flies and the filth. But as I returned to the surface, finally heading back to the hotel with a clouded mind, the chill felt like it would never leave my bones. Dude, I'm dying. I'm gonna die this route. I don't have a protector anymore. I'm really alone this time. The next night, I'm dead. I woke up with a knot in my stomach. It was a sharp gnawing feeling that wouldn't go away. That feeling was... I wasn't sure. I couldn't place the feeling beyond a sense of apprehension. Maybe my emotions were too strong to pick out, or else it was just my fight or flight instincts warming up, numbing my mind. But there was one thing I knew for certain. After tonight, everything would be different. I'm not looking forward to this at all. When I finally prepared myself physically and mentally, I decided it was time to go. I made my way to the door, stepped outside, and... I'll give my room a final look. I glanced back at the empty room. For a moment, I traveled back in time to my first night, when I stood in daze on this very spot. Now here I was, about to leave for what might be the final time. But there was no point dwelling in nostalgia. Oh god, dude. Downstairs in the lobby, Sharice's agents were waiting for me. From their tight-lipped, intense stares, they seemed to feel more anxious than I was. You guys aren't even announcing it. I am. And this time when I'm announcing it, I don't have backup to help me. We took several cars to the abattoir, leaving at slightly different intervals in case we were being watched. Nobody spoke up. The few agents sharing my car only whispered a few words to each other. I had my weapons from before still tucked in my jacket, since I was told we'd be able to smuggle in anything we wanted. From the firepower that the agents were packing, it seemed like they expected to use it. We pulled up a block away from the abattoir, and I followed the agents towards the front entrance. I noticed a few humans trying to get inside the club, only to get swiftly rejected by the bouncers. But as soon as we approached, it led us inside, swinging open the door with a foreboding creak. I'm not ready for this. What are my stats like, dude? I'm fine with the Ascaria, I guess. The moment I entered the club, a different atmosphere swirled around me. Instead of a crowd of mortals, everywhere I looked, they were only vampires. Tension weighed thickly in the air, as cloying and heavy as the pounding music. But it seemed like Sharice's bait had worked. I saw vampires from all three houses crowding the floor, watching each other uneasily even as they drank and danced the night away. Did they have any idea what was going to happen? No one stopped me as I climbed up to the empty stage, walking over to the microphone. As soon as I approached it, though, I felt more and more ice flicking onto me. Sharice's agents were all watching me, closest of all, probably ready to pounce if I chickened out. Suddenly the music switched off. Everyone started to murmur in confusion, glancing around to see what was happening. Now it seemed like a good time to start. Start of my death. Here we go. Can I have everyone's attention? My voice boomed back to me over the loudspeakers. All the vampires who weren't looking at me before now stared at me wide-eyed. Everybody stayed silent, waiting for my next words. For some of you, tonight's your last night here. Silence. If you're not on our side, it might be your last night ever. Whoa, bro. We're ready to claim LA and kick out the parasites are good. You know what? I'm gonna go with the last one. I could sense countless eyes piercing into me. Right now, I felt like they were all waiting for me to mess up. Because the winning side in this war will be... Yo, Andrei? I did, man, technically on his side. Andrei. You know, fuck it, you know? This is the last route. The next few seconds felt frozen in time. Nobody moved, as if they were waiting for somebody else to move first. I'm ready to die. Markus is gone. Lazarus is dead. Who do I have left? Just as I started to wonder if my microphone had turned off. All hell broke loose. Some of the vampires charged towards me, but another group leaped onto them, shooting and clawing at them. The Ascaria weren't the only ones who smuggled in weapons. And then a throng of people race for the exits, shoving each other to escape. Helter skelter, baby. Bodies were already falling to the floor, both dead and alive. Now waiting to be next, I jumped off the stage towards safety. Wait, I see her! She's over there! Get her! Dude, I'm dead. Instantly, a pair of furious cries rang out inside. I could guess who they were talking about. Darting towards the club's emergency exit, I ducked outside. Gunfire shouting and footsteps raced after me. Bullets whizzed over my head, drilling into the wall. Down the street, an alley, another alley, back into the street. Andrei, if you're here to save me, it's now would be a perfect time. No matter how fast I ran, they were right behind me. I felt like an animal fleeing for its life, driven by pure instinct to survive, but I knew from their voices that I was outnumbered. If only I... Oh no, that simply won't do. Wait, I got backup? Oh, the Golgotha! As I rounded the corner, a group of Golgotha stepped from the shadows. Is it Shang? What's it Shang? Stood at the forefront, wearing a wide, malicious grin. I don't know what that is, but loose, my friends. Then the next second, everything from ninja stars to throwing axes whirled past my head. Most of the projectiles were aimed to kill, but it was more than enough to send my pursuers fleeing, screaming in panic. Well, at least I'm not dead yet. A few Golgotha chased after them, using up the rest of their bizarre weaponry before pulling out loaded guns. I stared at the disappearing shapes of my attackers, who looked like the scar from the club. A fantastic performance tonight, Michiko. Shang beamed at me proudly, offering some enthusiastic applause. I think a standing ovation from the clubgoers was well deserved, but I suppose the rest of our audience wasn't quite so appreciative. I know, filthy Philistines. At least you're a man of culture. They were too busy. No, at least you're a man of culture. That's awfully kind of you, and rather spot on, if I do say so myself. Oh well, as delightful as it'd be to linger around for the fun, I think we better get back to the graveyard, don't you? I thought you'd never ask. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess, man. I lost everything. Where am I? Can't believe I'm on the Golgotha side. I don't even, like, appreciate their, the things that they stand for. I followed Shang to a regular taxi park nearby, whose driver was waiting for us patiently. He didn't smell human. I wonder if they'd somehow stolen the car, or if vampire cabbies were a normal thing in LA. Well, be the perfect incognito. Just like, well, that would be horrible. I was gonna say just eat your the passenger, but that would be horrible. Thanks to his fast driving, we pulled up at the cemetery before long. As soon as we stepped past towering gates, I noticed a group of vampires in the distance crowded near the mausoleum. It felt incredibly strange to see so many people here at once. Even when I came to the graveyard with Markus, there were only a few others. Tonight it looked like a mass gathering. Well, welcome to the both of you. I backstabbed you, but yeah, I still helped you somehow. When I stopped in front of the mausoleum with Shang, Andrei turned to us to study us. You have done most admirable work, Michiko. It would seem the Mavar and Scar have retreated to their respective fortresses for now, allowing us to solidify our plans. You don't think they'll attack us here? My speeches usually do drive people away. Personally, I'm feeling sad still, so you don't think they'll attack us here? I do not. Both Rando and Charisse are aware of how dangerous such an attack might be. Andrei shook his head calmly, not clumsily. Calmly, not seeming remotely troubled by the possibility. However, my assistants have informed me that both houses intend to wage an attack tomorrow night, despite their uncertain ground. The Sky are quite confident they can overwhelm the Mavar, then lay siege to us, while the Mavar are desperate enough to make a final attack before they lose their foothold. His golden eyes drifted past me for a moment, gazing towards the city lights that glitter in the distance. I could tell a plan had already formulated itself in his head. All those gathered are in agreement. We must involve ourselves in tomorrow's conflict to ensure our advantage is not lost. Andrei motioned towards the other Golgotha who had been watching us attentively this whole time. They stayed silent as if they were attending a mass, but I saw a few nods when Andrei mentioned their decision. There is but one aspect not yet finalized, our method of attack. We have settled on two options, both equally viable. Oh god, I gotta make another big choice. Indeed, the sole deciding factor could be one's senses of honor in combat. We may construct an ambush cloaking your presence for a short while, or alternatively wait for Mavar and his guard and weaken each other before joining the fray. I'd say wait. Let's just wait for them. But anyway, this is where we're going to stop for today's episode. I'm going to choose let's wait for them, because I feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have any protection, because in the last route we had like Lazarus help us. This time Lazarus is dead and Markus is gone, and Markus was our love interest. Last route we had Rendell. I depended on that super much. Can't even speak English anymore. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.